Why God lets narcissists hurt you and how he turns it around. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood in the middle of your bedroom, lights off, heart shattered, and prayed so hard your throat burned? Pleaded with God to fix them, to wake them up, break them down, rip the narcissism clean out of their soul, and then a whisper, not a wish shift, just more silence, more cold stares, more manipulation, more gaslighting. You're spinning your wheels while they sit pretty. You ever felt like God's just watching it all go down with his arms crossed? And like he forgot you in the lion's den? Yeah, I've been there. But listen. And I mean really listen. Because this is gonna sting a little. What if the reason it's not changing is because the prayer itself is broken? That white knuckle begging you're doing. That desperate, teary, God, change them, chant you're stuck on. It might be the very thing chaining you to the chaos. See, God's not in the business of giving you escape routes. He's into transformation. And not theirs. Yours? You're asking him to fix the narcissist. But what if he's using the narcissist to fix you? Now don't twist that. I'm not saying the abuse is okay. I'm not justifying evil. I'm telling you there's something bigger at work here. And if you miss it, you'll stay stuck in a loop that'll drain the life right out of your soul. So let's rip the lid off this thing. Let's talk about what's really going on. Firstly, painful prayers and feelings stuck. Here's the gut punch. You're not just in pain. You're in a pattern. You cry. You plead. You hit your knees night after night with that same exhausted prayer. God, make them stop. God, why are you letting this happen? But nothing shifts. If anything, it gets worse. They get colder, crueler, more calculated. Meanwhile, your sanity's circling the drain. You know why? Because all your focus is on them. You've made the narcissist the centerpiece of your prayers. And that's the trap. See, the enemy doesn't need to destroy you outright. He just needs you distracted. There, as long as your prayers orbit around their behavior, you're playing the wrong game. You're locked in a spiritual tug of war, and you're yanking the wrong rope. However, here's a radical idea. What if the prayer isn't supposed to be God, change them? What if it's God, what are you trying to change in me? That shift, right there, is everything. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Proverbs 4:2-3 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. You've been guarding your pain, not your purpose. So, yeah, you're stuck, but it's not because God's ignoring you. It's because he's trying to wake you up, not just to their dysfunction, but to your own transformation. Second, narcissists as tools in God's refinement. You keep thinking the narcissist is the problem. But what if they're just the instrument? Listen, God's not in heaven biting his nails wondering when they'll change. He's not pacing, stressed out about their nonsense. He's using it. Every insult, every manipulation, every cold shoulder. Think about it like this: you're steel. That narcissist. The fire. The anvoys. But God. He's the blacksmith holding the hammer. You're not being burned, you're being forged. And forging ain't cute. It's loud. It's violent. It's pressure and sparks and screaming metal. But the only way to make a weapon that doesn't break in battle is to put it through hell first. So stop asking why it's so hard. Ask what kind of warrior God is trying to make out of you. Because if you think he's in the business of bubble wrapping believers so life doesn't hurt, you've got the wrong God. This ain't a TED talk. This is the furnace. The deeper the heat, the sharper the blade. And let me tell you something loud, he's not sharpening you so you can sit on a shelf. He's prepping you to cut through darkness. The narcissist is not your destiny. They're just the noise before the breakthrough. Third, the enemy's whisper and emotional breakdown. You think it started with that one fight, that one lie, that one betrayal. It didn't. It started with a whisper. You were wronged. You're not enough. They don't really love you. That's how the enemy gets in. Not with a chainsaw, with a whisper, just enough to plant a seed, and that seed, it doesn't stay small. It grows, it festers. Before you know it, your heart is a war zone and your mind is replaying every offense like it's your job. You start disengaging, not just from the narcissist, but from yourself. You stop smiling, you stop dreaming, your soul starts shrinking, and that's exactly what the enemy wants. See, he doesn't care how it happens. Rage, silence, a passive aggression, ice-cold revenge, it's all good to him. As long as you disconnect from love, from grace, from God, he wins. You think you're just mad at your sister, your spouse, your parent. No, you're under attack. And the narcissist, just the puppet. But you're the one holding the scissors. Cut the strings. Don't give the enemy free rent in your head. He's a liar, a manipulator, the original narcissist. Then Ephesians 60:12 says it straight, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, so stop shadowboxing with people. Start swinging at the real fight. Fourth, the story of Joseph's betrayal with a purpose. Now if you're sitting there thinking, you don't know what they did to me. I don't, but I know someone who gets it deep. Joseph, his own blood threw him in a pit, sold him like a pair of clearance sandals, lied about him, forgot about him, for years. But you want to know what's wild? The Bible says, and the Lord was with Joseph. With him. Not after the pain, not once he got out. Right in the middle of the betrayal. Why? Because Joseph didn't let the betrayal become him. He didn't marinate in victimhood. He didn't spend 10 years writing mental Yelp reviews about his brothers. He kept walking with God. And years later, when his abusers came crawling back, Joseph didn't say, I told you so. He looked them in the eye and said, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. Genesis 52 near that verse ain't a slogan, it's a sword. Tattoo it on your freaking soul. Because this right here, this is where it flips. The betrayal, it wasn't the end, it was the setup. For influence. For authority. For purpose that couldn't be stopped. Even by hate. You're not broken. You're becoming. You want God to remove them, but God's trying to reveal you. So don't curse the pit. Don't fear the silence. God doesn't waste betrayal. He recycles it into destiny. Fifth, letting go and forgiving to break free. I know what you're thinking. You want me to forgive them. After everything they did. Yeah. I do. Not for them. For you? Forgiveness isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about ripping the hook out of your own chest. Because bitterness. It's a slow death, like swallowing acid and hoping the other person feels it. You keep dragging their offense like a ball and chain. Every conversation, every prayer, every thought, it's in there. Weighing you down. Robbing your joy. Clouding your future. Let it go. Not because they deserve peace, but because you do. The forgiveness is the jailbreak. It's the key. And yeah, it'll feel unnatural at first. You'll feel like you're betraying yourself. But you're not. You're finally getting free. You think Joseph felt like forgiving. He had every right to rage. His brothers sold him out like a garage sale. But he chose something higher. He said, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. That line, that was the doorway. That's when the heavens cracked open and purpose came pouring down. You want your next chapter. You want peace. You want power. Let go. Let go of the scorekeeping, the silent revenge, the fantasy where they finally suffer. Your healing is on the other side of that release. And God, He's more than capable of handling them. His sixth, patience in the waiting season. Waiting is brutal. Let's just call it what it is. It feels like God forgot your name. You're still stuck in that toxic mess. Still praying, still begging, and heaven's quiet like a dead phone line. But that silence, it's not absence. It's underground activity, like planting a seed in desert dirt. You water, you wait, and nothing. You stare at the ground like it betrayed you. But underground, roots are moving, their soil's shifting, the miracle's in motion. Patience isn't passive, it's war, it's trust with no proof. It's holding the line when every part of you is screaming, do something. And this kind of patience, this is where most people tap out. They'd rather settle for a fake peace than wait for a real one. Joseph waited over a decade, not for closure, not for a fake apology, but for purpose. And when it came, Pharaoh didn't promote him out of pity. God had been crafting him in the shadows. Every silent day in prison was a prelude to the palace. Lamentations 3:25 says, the Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. Don't let the delay make you doubt. God's timing it's perfect. And it's coming. So breathe, stand your ground. Wait like a warrior. Because when that seed breaks the surface, everything changes. Seventh, humility, self-reflection, and trusting God. Now this one's gonna sting, because it turns the mirror around. You've been praying about them. They're lies. They're narcissistic nonsense. But what if, just maybe, God's trying to deal with you? Easy now. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not giving narcissists a pass. But if you never ask God, is there anything in me that needs to shift? Then you're stuck. Humility isn't humiliation, it's power wrapped in surrender. Joseph didn't start wise and polished. He was cocky, bragging, dreaming out loud to a room full of brothers who hated him. Yeah, but the dream was from God. But the delivery, that was Joseph, that was ego. So God took him on a tour through the pit, the prison, the breaking. Not to crush him, but to prepare him. When Joseph finally stood in front of those same brothers years later, he wasn't flexing. He was forgiving. That's transformation. That's humility forged in fire. And trust, that's the secret fuel. Trust isn't blind faith. It's choosing to believe that even when life makes no sense, God's still running the show. Even when you feel like the joke's on you, and the narcissist is winning. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Not part of your heart, all of it. You don't need all the answers, you need the one who is the answer. So unclench your fists, drop the need to control, and say, "God, I trust you, even in this." Because trust is the bridge between the fire and the future. So what if the narcissist wasn't sent to ruin you but to reveal you? What if this storm wasn't punishment, but prep? Not the end of your peace, but the start of your power. God's not turning his back. He's turning up the heat, led to refine you, shape you, burn off the dead weight and call out the fighter inside. You prayed for change, and he answered, just not the way you expected. Instead of changing them, he started with you. Through fire, you found clarity. Through betrayal, purpose. Through silence, strength. That letting go wasn't weakness. It was your jailbreak. Waiting didn't waste time. It forged you. Humility didn't shrink you. It sharpened you. And when you finally stopped staring at their mess and asked God something to do something in you, everything started shifting. So now, flip the script. This pain, it's not random. It's sacred. You're not just surviving, you're being forged. And if this hit something in your gut, if it stirred something deep, then don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, like, drop a comment, tell me your story. Let there and watch the next video, because we're not done. Not by a long shot, you're being refined for something massive. Let's walk it out together.